Hi, I'm Tim Tuller, Canon for Music at St. John's Cathedral, here with a couple words about the music for this Sunday, May 18th. We are still within the 50 days of Easter right now, and on this Sunday, our prelude is going to be the second movement of the Suite Gothique by the French composer Léon Boëlmann. Now, if you've been watching these videos, you'll remember that this last Sunday, I also played a piece by Boëlmann at the postlude, the toccata from the same Suite Gothique. And this piece, the minuet, is a very joyful and jaunty and exuberant movement from the same work. And Boëlmann, who he was a kind of a tragic figure. He died at the age of only 35 years old in 1897. From what was most likely tuberculosis. He didn't write too much, and the Suite Gothique, which is modeled on the types of compositions that his mentors Louis Vierne and Charles-Marie Widor and Eugene Gigoux and others at the time would have written. It's a very accessible style, and although he didn't write much that is remembered, this piece is one of the most well-known pieces in the entire organ repertoire because it is so well done and tuneful. Our offertory anthem this Sunday is by the New England area composer Everett Titcomb. Titcomb was active in the early 20th century, and he was from the Boston area, and that's where he spent most of his career. He was the music director at the Church of St. John the Evangelist in Boston from 1910 to 1959, and he's really considered a church music institution in the Boston area. This particular anthem, Sing Unto the Lord, is a wonderful piece for the Easter season. It's wonderfully joyful and exuberant, and it was actually commissioned for the service of dedication of the organ at the First Christian Church in Maryville, Missouri in 1954. And the highlight of this piece, if you ask me, is the middle section, which consists of a tenor solo around which the choir sings. And there's one point when it references the Psalms, praise God, with organs. And at that point, the organ part actually swells up and kind of overtakes the soloist, and a little bit of tone painting there. It's really an interesting passage, and I think you'll really like this piece. It's the first time the Cathedral Choir has ever sung it, since I've been here, anyway. The postlude this Sunday is the toccata by Percy Fletcher. Fletcher was another English composer. He lived from, I believe it was 1879 to 1932, and unlike most of the English composers I cite in these videos, he was not primarily known as a church composer or a sacred musician in any way. He was best known as a music director at several theaters in the London area. And he was also particularly well known for his music for brass band. So he was he's not as known as an organ composer, although this toccata that he wrote is very, very well done, very well written for the instrument. And it was played by the early 20th century English theater organist, Edwin H. Lemaire. It's a very, very lovely piece, and I think you'll like it very much. Hope you enjoy the music this Sunday.